truth. Give them a round of applause, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Janette.
Everybody, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Usually we just pay attention to our face. But in the next 2 hours, we're going to go beyond the face and look at body language from head to toes. Because if you just read the face, you're just reading the tip of the iceberg, okay? So really, we want to make sure that we go all the way. Oh, and if you want my presentation, if you take your smartphone and you text me to that telephone number and you text ABL Truth, I'll send you this PowerPoint. So you don't have to take notes. So the 5 takeaways, your 5 takeaways today are, you're going to learn effective tools. That's why I brought my Steady Ready toolbox here, body language toolbox. Everything that you need to be an expert in body language, you already knew as a baby. So we are just trying to resurface your initial skills and become more fluent in body language. So effective tools, number 2, activate our 5 senses. All right? So let me get my trusty toolbox here. What do you need? First of all, you need to activate your brain. Everybody feel your brain? Some of you guys have good, big brains there. I can see you, okay? So you have to activate your brain because your brain processes the senses. So most of us know to pay attention to what? The words, right? But the words are just the tip of the iceberg. We need to go beyond the words because people can lie and tell half-truths. So we want to do more of this. Listen, right? Everybody take your left hand out and do an L. Okay, pulse your L. Look, listen, and learn. Those are the 3 skills that we really need to improve our body language because when we look, listen, and learn, we will capture more of the communication. Pay attention. Pay attention. Because if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss so many cues that are right there in front of our eyes. But you're paying attention and you're observing and you're absorbing like this. Be a sponge, right? What do sponges do? You absorb the water. It takes time to absorb the water, but as you're absorbing the information, you're soaking it all up so you get the message. All of the truth is right in front of you if you pay attention to all 5 of your senses, including smell, right? Why are dogs so good at body language? Because they have a keen sense of hearing and a keen sense of smell. And when you use all 5 of your senses, it gets processed in your brain and it shines a light on the truth. It shines a light on what's really happening. And if you're just, doing a lot of talking, you're not absorbing information from the other person. And then you're going to detect power poses versus non-power pose. So if you're interacting with a client or a patient or a consumer and you notice these nuances in the body language, you can then adjust your strategies to make the engagement as best as possible. And look, listen, and learn. I want you to carefully look at this New Zealand haka and notice all the body language clues. So pay attention, look, listen, and learn. And notice the opponent team in white. Notice their body language versus the all black from New Zealand. Notice the body language for the blacks. This is a tribal chant for war. So they're doing a lot of this, and tongue sticking out. They're using their entire body, okay? And notice all this stomping. What's the white team doing? Okay? Notice what the white team is doing. A lot of chest stomping and foot stomping. And at the end, a little gesture there.
The challenge has been received.
So from the audience, what did you notice in their body language message? Aggression? What gave you the sense of aggression? Yes, for the All Blacks, the New Zealand team. You could tell it in their face and the power of their stomping and chest pounding. Anything else? Lots of energy. Tongue thrust. Okay, notice this too, because when people do their press conference and they're asked a sensitive question, notice there'll be some lip-lipping and tongue thrusting. Notice the timing of that, because that can mean that they are uncomfortable with the topic and they don't like what they have to talk about. So the tongue thrusting is a very primal, primitive gesture of distaste. The other thing I want you to notice about that dance is they were all in unison. There's power in unison. You know, marching, a marching band. So you can gain power when you're in unison. Let's say you're with a client and you're walking down the hall with your client, okay? If you want to connect with your client, try to align your step with the client's step. So try to match and align the pace and rhythm of the walk. And non-verbally, you're in connection, and it may help you get the signature for the contract, or the negotiation will go your way. As we talked about, okay, everybody put out your left hand, right? Look, listen, and learn. If you get anything from this, look, listen, and learn. We're going to sharpen the tools today. So in this 2 hours, we're going to sharpen your tools. You already have the skills. It's just accessing and fine-tuning your skills, right? We all can look, listen, and learn right now. So we're just going to fine-tune it and become more aware of something that you already are familiar with. Okay, so we talked about tools and the toolbox. When you use your tools, you will get to the truth. If you have an open mind and you observe, right? You've got to observe. And what are we also doing, everybody, with your left hand? Look, listen, and learn. And you've got to soften your technique. If your objective is to connect with the other person, you can soften your approach. Anybody with a first name S in the group? Susan? And Stephen? Okay, Susan and Stephen, may you please stand up and show the audience your smile. S is for smile. Smile, Susan. Anybody with an O in their name? Yes, O. So O is open. So you want to have an open body gesture. You know, in LinkedIn, you see so many pictures like this or billboards like this. They don't know that they're actually creating a physical and emotional and a psychological barrier when you cross your hands like this. If you want engagement, keep your body gesture open. F is for forward nod, okay? Or forward lean. T is for appropriate touch, right? In business, it typically is a handshake. E is for appropriate eye gaze. You have to be careful of the culture, though, and the gender, and it's a personal preference, too, because some people are more shy than, now I know Joe's very shy, so he, he may not have, you know, as strong a eye gesture as maybe Mary. So it depends on the individual, the situation, and the culture. Okay? And N is for nod. You know, so if you really want to show to the other person that you're engaged, you soften your approach with a smile, open body gesture, forward lean. When we like something, we move forward, right? When we don't like something, we move further back. T is for appropriate touch. E, eye gaze, and nodding. We said we're engaging all of our senses. You start first with the brain. You've got to use your brain. Your brain is actively taking in all of these senses and interpreting what it all means. And body language is relational. As I'm engaging with Mary and watching her body language, she's watching me. So be careful of your own body language. And we talked about talk less, listen more, watch out. Even your nose knows, right? And absorb everything. Remember, you're a sponge. You want to get all that information into your sponge. Now, when we were babies, we were body language experts. But when we were babies, we couldn't talk. But we were still communicating with all of our caregivers and our environment. So we've got to almost revert back to what we knew when we were babies, even though we couldn't say a word. Then in preschool and elementary school and middle school, we started learning more and more words. But really, verbal is only 7 to 10% of communication. If you think of an iceberg, right, only the tip of the iceberg is verbal. What do you think the middle part is? It's how we say it, right? If you say, no, I'm not mad, but you say it in kind of a tone like that, your spouse is going to think, yeah, you're still mad, okay? And underneath the iceberg is body language. So many people just pay attention to the tip of the iceberg, but look at how much communication they're missing if they're only paying attention to the words. We're trying to comfort, connect, and be congruent in our body language. When you're engaging with other people, depending on your objective, but mainly you want to create ease. Why do you think even FBI guys and CIA guys and law enforcement guys, if they really want information from the witness or the suspect, even if they know or think that the person is guilty, they get more information when they create ease. And even a glass of water and a chair will help the suspect open up and reveal more. So engage your senses, attend, attune, and absorb, soften your approach, and you're using the tools. You're engaging the tools. You know, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, they were always in sync. You want to be in sync with the other person that you're engaging with. So in a very subtle way, you're mirroring their body language. You're mirroring the body language, okay? You don't want to be obvious because then they'll think that you're mocking them. You're trying to connect and engage with them. So you're mirroring and synchronizing. You remember I said about our walking pace? So you're trying to match up with their walking pace, but not let them know that you're trying to match up. Okay, see this couple, right? What do you notice about this couple? Say it louder, please. Yes, Queen Mom, are they doing it right? Okay, show the audience how you do it. Right, right. So look at how in sync William and Kate are. What's in sync about their two body language? Even the angle of their hands, right? And look at their other hand, okay? Now look at the body language of the bodyguard behind them. A little different, right? Right? When you see the couple in alignment, what does that tell you about that couple? They're on board? Yes. Right? When you see two people in alignment like that, what messages are you thinking about that couple? That they're getting along, they're in sync, they love each other, you know? It was different body language for Princess Diana and Prince Charles. They were not in alignment. So pay attention, everybody, and watch how the mother and the baby are mirroring and synchronizing, and then watch what happens when the mother doesn't mirror the baby.
Babies this young are extremely responsive.
A little louder, please.
To the emotions and the reactivity and the social interaction that they get
So
from
this was a
the
research
world
study.
around them. This is something that we started studying 30, 40 years ago. What the mother did was she sits down and she's playing with her baby who's about a year of age.
I'm like a girl.
Watch how they interact.
Oh.
And she gives a greeting to the baby gives a greeting back to her.
Yeah.
This baby starts pointing at different places in the world, and the mother's trying to engage her
She
and
looks
play with her.
in that
They're
direction.
working to coordinate
See the interplay
their
right now?
emotions and their intentions, what they want to do in the world. And that's really what the baby is used to. And then
Now
we
watch.
ask the mother to not respond to the baby.
It's immediate.
The baby very quickly picks up on this. And then
What do
she
you notice?
uses all of her abilities to try and get the mother back. She smiles at the mother. She points because she's used
She's
to the mother
trying and
looking
trying
where
to
she
engage.
points.
But the game has changed.
The baby puts both hands up in front of her and says, "What's happening here?"
Notice the distress.
She makes that screechy sound at the mother, like, "Come on, why aren't we
And
doing
this is
this?"
a nonverbal baby.
Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions, they turn away, they feel the stress of it. They actually may lose control of their posture because of the stress that they're experiencing.
See how important the interaction is?
Okay.
And then notice the switch.
I'm here. And what are you doing? Oh, yes. Oh, what a big girl.
In the beginning, weren't they mirroring and synchronizing and engaging, right? Okay? But once the baby got the still face from the mother, immediately what did the baby do? Yeah, she was surprised, and then what did the baby do? Tried to get the mom to play again, tried to point and engage, and then when she realized the mother was not, there was stress indicators. So be careful and watch the other people that you're engaging with. If you notice that they're not paying attention to you, then you've got to try your best to re-engage with that person. Or if you see that they have distress signals, you have to ask yourself, what is going on that might be contributing to this person's distress? Okay, so that baby gave a good indication of she noticed something was different in the mother's baseline, and she was trying to get the old mother's reactions back. Okay, any baseball players here when you were growing up? Played ball? Okay, what did the coach always tell you to do? What was that? Keep your eyes on the ball, right? You can observe a lot just by looking, but you have to look. Okay, in the beginning, you know, the Vogue song really focused on the face. but we're going from head to toes. The body always shows the truth. Everybody look at your feet. Look at your feet. That's the starting point. Feet first. When you're engaging with people, look at their feet first. Okay? Now everybody shake your hands. Shake your hands. Next is you want to watch people's hands. What do cops always say? Hands up. Because they need to know where your hands are. So you watch the person's feet, but don't be creepy about it, right? Watch the person's feet, and also where are the hand placements. If you do that, you are already 60% ahead of the game in your competitive edge because all your colleagues aren't looking at feet first and hands, okay? And you want that competitive advantage. All right. When the baby was interacting with the mother, she was used to the mother's baseline. What's baseline? Table over there? Normal, right? She was expecting the normal interplay, the normal fun play with mother or dad, okay? So if things change from the baseline, those are called hot spots. Okay, everybody put out your hand. You're counting 1, 2, 3, or more hot spots. Then you are thinking, uh-oh, why is this now different? It could be the weather, it could be the lighting, it could be the sensitive questions that you're asking, it could be anything. But you're putting the pieces together. And so when the baby saw the still face, that was hotspot number 1, right? Why is mom just showing me this flat face? Number 2, mom's not following my fingers, right? Number 3, mom's not smiling or talking to me when I'm trying to grab her face. So the baby took my class, and so she was able to count the hot spots, and she realized a cluster of 5 or more different things from mother meant that this is not my same mother, and that's when she went into screeching. All right? She was communicating without words. Okay, everybody, pretend like you're a scale. Arms out. If you see hot spots, tip to your left, 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 left. That means something's going on, okay? Tip to the right, 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 right. So what you're trying to do when you're interacting with others is you're mentally thinking that you're a scale, and you're putting hot spots on your left side. And if you don't see any hot spots, then you're in balance, right, with the other person. But if that other person is giving you a whole bunch of, hot spots, then you've got to think, what is going on here? Is this person deceiving me? Is this person uncomfortable with me? Do I have to explain my position more? Do I have to find out what truly is motivating to the other person? For us in sales, sometimes we tell too much, but maybe we should be listening and getting more from the client. And we get to the truth when we put ourselves and the other person at ease. So we know the baseline, and we're looking for deviations from the baseline. Anybody have pets? Raise your hand. Okay, then you'll relate to this clip. Imagine coming home and you see this. You can relate.
So my question is, who did it? Who's the culprit?
It's only
we got a
Murphy.
couple options. Let's see. We got Ghedotte.
You're going to tell
We
me
got
which
Zena.
dog did it.
What about Tank? I wonder if Tank had anything to do with it.
What's the hot
Tank,
spot?
do you know about the
people?
trash? Do you know anything about the trash, Tank?
Look at the body
'Cause,
language between the other
I
two
don't know
dogs
who
and
could have done
Tank.
something like that. I mean, you're the adult, you're in charge, and yet somehow the trash got into you. Can you tell me what happened?
Aw.
Yeah, can you tell me what happened?
Okay. Dad comes home. What's hot spot number 1? Trash all over, okay? So you're counting the hot spots. So with your hand, number 1, trash. Number 2, What else do you notice that's different from normal? What was that, dear? They held back, okay? Normally dogs come. Okay, that's hotspot number 2. So dog number 1 and dog number 2 were doing this, right? Were they acting pretty much the same, do you think? With the wagging of the tail? Okay, so they seem to be closer to their baseline. What about the Mastiff? What makes him guilty? Yes. Yes. What was around his neck? Uh-huh. Okay, so you see how that's a third hotspot? He had the evidence around his neck because his big head, he didn't know how to, get out of that. What else was happening to the Mastiff in the body? Yeah, and he was the last dog to approach Daddy, right? Okay. What else? Head down, right. And he was licking the lips and turning away. So you see how we have more than a handful of what? Hot spots. Why did you rule out the other 2 dogs? They could have framed Tank. Okay, we'll put it on Tank. He's so dumb he won't know how to get it out, right? But did you see the difference in the innocent dogs? They kind of looked the same, right? They didn't appear to be afraid of Dad or show the guilty signs. Now we're going to try it in one more. Of these 2, you're getting pretty good. Do you think it's the pit bull or the long-haired wiener dog? All right, watch.
¿Quién fue? ¿Quién hizo esto?
Notice the body language.
¿Quién de los dos fue?
Compare the
¿Quién
pit
hizo
with
esto?
the
Quiero saber.
dachshund.
Mira cómo me dejaron la plantilla. ¿Quién fue? Oye, ¿fuiste vos? ¿Fuiste vos? ¿Vos hiciste esto?
Look at the
No.
look at the long hair.
Señor,
Señor.
le estoy hablando. Le estoy hablando, señor. ¿Usted hizo esto?
Notice all
Mire.
of the pit bull's body language.
Mire para adelante. ¡Ey! Hiciste esto, ¿no? Vos me mordiste toda la plantilla. Mirá, no te alcanza. Aunque me dejas así. Con la J, una de cada lado. ¿Te gusta morder todo? Vos sos cómplice.
Okay. Who thinks, given the dogs, the 2 different dogs' body language, who thinks it's the long-haired wiener dog? Come on. It's not the brown one? Not at all? Why do you think it wasn't the brown-haired dachshund?
Judging by the shame on the face of the pit.
Yes. But what made you rule out the long-haired brown dog? Yeah, he took it. He was stoic. Did he move his body really? And he took the inquiries. Yeah, and was he looking at Dad? Yeah, okay. Who thinks it was the beautiful blue silver pit bull? Okay. Anybody who doesn't think it's the pit bull and like a random dog? Okay. Okay. Why do you think it was the pit bull? What was it about the blue pit bull's body language that gave you clues that he was the guilty one? He would not look directly at the owner, whereas the brown dog did. What else did the pit bull do? When we don't like something, what do? We move away. Mary, why do you think it was the pit bull?
He was even going to the other dog for protection.
He was climbing over his brother, right? What else did he do? Not only did he climb over the brown dog, what else did he do? He was hiding in the bush. And notice the ears were flat. Did he really look at Dad? No. So you see, even in animals, that's why I picked animal examples, because they're pure and what? From head to tail, the body always shows the truth. Did you capture more from those two videos than maybe you would normally catch, given that you just went through the intro of what? Look, listen, and learn. Okay, so hotspots are like puzzle pieces. If someone scratches their nose when you say, "Where were you last night?" that's what? Only one piece of the puzzle. But if you notice, then they start clearing their throat, right? And if they look away, right? And if they start delaying their answers, what are we doing right now? We're collecting puzzle pieces, hotspot pieces, and what are we doing? We're putting them together. For those who have children, right, you've had puzzles in your household. When you pick up one piece, do you know what the whole image is with one piece? Not yet. Yes. You start finding pieces that match, and you click, and you adjust, and you cluster, and you fit together. And then what happens? An image shows, right? And then you can see it's landscaping, or then you can see it's an animal. But with one piece, it's not enough. So if someone says, well, you know, Steve scratched his nose at the top of his nose when I asked him, did he take the money? That's one piece. Is Steve guilty yet? We don't know. What are we going to now do? Collect puzzle pieces, right? So we're clustering the pieces together. And remember, always take into account cultural differences. Cultural differences, because in one culture, it might be fine for men to hug and hold hands. In another culture, it is not. So you want to interpret the body language meaning according to that individual in that situation, because our interpretation may be different. So you're looking for discomfort. Did the blue pit bull show discomfort? Yeah. Many also looking for these hot spots to see if the person is lying to you. You're looking for distress. Did Tank show some distress in that clip? Yes. You're looking for dread. The pit bull showed dread. His ears were flat, and he was trying to literally be invisible. And also, the clusters that you see may actually be a disease that you don't know of. So, you know, medical conditions and health conditions factor into the equation. As you're putting the pieces together, you're watching the story unfold. You're watching the image develop. Remember when we had Polaroid, what kind of Polaroid cameras, and you clicked it and the film took maybe a few minutes to develop? That's what you're doing with body language. You're noticing any changes to the baseline, and then the picture develops. When you start putting the pieces together, and when you start noticing body language, you move from the sketchy black and white pencil picture to add more color to greater clarity. And that's what you want. And that's how you get a competitive advantage when you're interacting with others. So we have power positions, right? We're going to be able to identify power positions versus non-power positions. Men, you are basically physically larger than us in general, and you command more space. Because of your presence, you actually have built-in power. And when you sit down, see, every man takes up a shoulder length space. And what do you notice about the women?
They're squeezed in more.
Yes. And their legs are together. The men in this picture have the power position. When we claim space and expand out, we hold more power. So women, when you are talking to males standing, you may want to pretend like you are a strong oak tree with balanced legs. You are balanced and more in a power position. Now, what do you notice about Angelina Jolie? What power cues is she giving here? Right? And what else? What else? Right. Expansion. Everybody, although you're sitting down, expand out. Expand out. Okay? Fluff up your hair like Angelina Jolie. All right? Yeah. Come on, guys. Fluff up your hair. Notice, everything in her poses is expanded, right? Even expanding out her hair. Notice the middle picture and the other close middle picture. What is she elevating? Her chin and her nose. Everything about this is power. This is an interrogation room. Jodi Arias is the defendant in this picture. Does anybody know the Jodi Arias case from a few years back? She was accused of murdering her boyfriend. The detective stepped out of the interrogation room, and what does this woman do? Handstand, okay? What do you think of that body language? Everybody in the media was confused and thought it was bizarre. Do you think it's bizarre? Why is it bizarre?
It's just not what I would expect in this situation.
Right. She's being accused of first-degree murder, and yet she does a handstand. What did we say about power poses? Anything gravity-defying, anything expanded, anything lifted up is power. So now that you took this class, you know that Jodi Arias was feeling what in this moment? Power. She was feeling powerful, and as a matter of fact, she told in several interviews, nobody's going to convict me, mark my words, nobody's going to convict me. And now we just learned that's a power pose. Why is it a power pose? Because the feet, which normally belongs on the floor, are elevated, and they're not only elevated to a chair level, they're elevated as high as they possibly could go. That means mentally, is she feeling confident in herself that she can beat the rap, or unconfident? Very confident. Very confident. So while everybody else who's looking at this thinking, wow, that chick's weird, and that is bizarre, you can confidently say, I understand her behavior, and I can tell you what that means, right? Okay, power pose or not power pose? Starting with the far left, power or not power? Not power. Why? Why do you think it's not power? Not expanded. It's crossed, okay? And what are we looking first? Right. So all of your other colleagues who are just looking from the torso up, what are they missing out on? The feet and the legs, which you are looking first because you took this class, right? And you now know that the left-hand person is slouched, right? You don't even see the torso, but you know this person's slouching. Limp arms crossed, limp legs crossed. He's not feeling too powerful right now. What about the middle person? Not power. Her feet may hurt because she's got those stilettos on too. What about the far right person? Power or not power? What was that? It's not power. because she's got her hand in between the legs, so it's protecting the private area. And she's got the two legs going in an awkward position. You see power when it's balanced and in control and erect. So if these were the body positions of the people that you were talking about, you now have clues that you have to try to re-engage the person, maybe offer a drink of water and get them up. Invite them to stand up and invite them to move. You want to interrupt this pattern. So interrupt the pattern by getting them up and moving to the kitchen to get some coffee. And then when they sit down, hopefully they're not in that same position. You may even ask them to sit in a different chair. You want to break them of this power or this position because it's a non-power position. They're all A-list celebrity women, and notice what they're doing with their feet. On the catwalk and on the red carpet, they are not feeling what? Powerful. And you know this because we're looking where first? Feet first. Right? So they might have spent $20,000 on their whole outfit, but their feet gave them away. Now notice, we said look at feet first, but we also have to think about the cultural difference. In Great Britain, the women and royal women have parallel legs in a Z formation. So even though we may think that that's not powerful, they're following etiquette, cultural etiquette. Another cultural etiquette, right? Queen Mum, what did I do? I curtsied. That is a submissive gesture because the men do not have to curtsy, they stand erect. But that's a cultural difference. So they're abiding by their culture, whereas we're thinking they are being submissive. So we looked at where first? Feet first, then what? Okay, so always, always, always watch the hands. You want to see what the other person's hands are doing because then you can adjust your interaction with them based on what you see. Okay, everybody show me the steeple. What is your name?
Gary.
Gary naturally has this power pose. Gary, show everybody your steeple. As I'm talking, I notice that Gary naturally has this. If you want to convey confidence and power non-verbally to the other person, just do this or this. And ladies, we've got to keep practicing this. Men do it so much more than we do, okay? And we can do a modified steeple, all right? So practice your steeple, okay? And why is this a power pose? Because it's an expansion, expanding out. The thumb can be a power pose in our country, but it could mean something offensive in another country. Same with the number 1. Now, Liz Taylor, how is that a power pose? Expanding out. Expanding out. Okay, and Channing, what's he doing with his thumbs? Steeple. The only modification I would have for the middle guy is to erect his torso. Okay? So he's showing more casualness with the slumped torso, but he's showing his power through his thumbs. Marilyn Monroe, people, how is Marilyn showing her power? And notice where her fingers are pointing, down to her private area. So this is a nonverbal sexual gesture with the chest out as far as it can go and the hands framing where the eyes should go. And then Audrey Hepburn, I think, is in the bottom. How is that a power pose? Expanded, and she's balanced. So, non-power pose, okay. Everybody, start picking imaginary lint off of your sleeve, okay? If someone else is doing that while you're talking to them, you need to break them out of that. Okay, ladies, start twirling your hair. flipping your hair. Guys, you can flip your hair if you have hair, right? If you see the other person self-touching, you want to notice, okay, which part are they touching? And you're trying to assess what that means. If you're explaining your contract and your new program, and you see the other person doing this, what do you make of that? Yes, this is good. That means they're still engaged with you, they're listening to what your proposal is, and they're evaluating what you say. They may not totally agree, but they're evaluating. Good sign. You can also show interest when someone is talking to you and you're absorbing, and so you're doing this and you're nodding, right? So pay attention. If someone is self-touching, you are losing their interest, so you've got to do something to re-engage yourself with your audience. Everybody, you have pockets, stick your hands in your pocket. When you're talking to other people, unless you are cold and it's outside, try to take your hands out of your pocket and put them where they can see it. You may not even know that you're putting your hands in your pocket, but the other person, if they're observing you, you may be sending them messages that you don't want, which may be negative messages. So keep your hands visible. The other thing is, when you talk and you're telling the truth, your hands are in sync with your words. So when you're listening to somebody, if they are talking and their hands are in sync with their words, they're congruent. You want to see congruency. What did we determine these were? Yes, non-power body language in each one of them. The left one, that is in a print magazine for clothes. See, the photographer needed to tell her what, Bill? That shows that she's covering her private areas, she's unsure, and if a strong wind came through, she would blow over. You want to be what? A solid oak tree. You do not want to be what? A young tree, because you will be tipped over. The middle person is an A-list celebrity, but look at her hands. Jodi Arias again, people. What is she showing you in her body language? Why do you say she's hiding? Yes. What is she using to protect her chest? Knees. Physical barrier. That's when you see billboards and LinkedIn photos of the person with their hands crossed. This is a barrier to the vital organs, the heart, the lungs, the interior cavities. If you want to engage with somebody, you keep it open. But Jodi, does she feel confident now? This is the same chick who had her feet in a handstand. Can you believe it's the same person? A little bit different now, right? A little bit different. And how do you know that? Through her body language. Oh, how's Jodi taking it now? She's blocking. She's got the long hair. She's blocking when she doesn't like what's going on. I have short hair, but she's using her long hair to block her eyes. What else is she using to block? Before it was the legs, right? And she's using the table as support. So if you see any body part using an inanimate object to support, that person doesn't have full confidence. Now look at this. Power pose or non-power pose? Power. They're all in unison, right? Remember the Haka dance, the chant in the beginning? Unison, multiple people in unison has greater power. It's erect and it's elevated, right? So each one of those is a power pose, but the OK sign here in America, that might be offensive when you travel abroad, internationally. Gentlemen doing. Right, and you notice the hands are in sync with the words, then the speaker is more credible, right? Credible. Next is the torso. Does anybody know who this gentleman is? Aaron Hernandez. Now, Aaron Hernandez was a football player. What power poses do you see in Aaron Hernandez right now? Chest is still puffed out. Any other power pose? Chin is up and nose is up. So he's still cocky. Okay? So the power pose is the chest out. The man's in handcuffs. And instead of going like this or like this, he's like this with the chin up and the nose up. 3 power poses. What are the non-power gestures in this photo? Okay, he's turned away. Great, thank you. So he's turning away. And, okay, everybody, scrunch up your eyebrows in the middle. Scrunch them up. You got to feel the muscles. Scrunch up your eyebrows. His eyebrow centers are elevated in the middle, and that shows sadness and distress. See, it's hard for you to elevate that right now. Okay, everybody, try to imitate his body, his eyebrow pose. Try. Can you do it? That's why from head to toes, the body always shows the truth. When you try to do it and you can't feel the feeling, it's harder. But notice his middle eyebrows are pulled up, and that's a distress signal. So for confident body language, keep your torso erect and up. You have to pay attention of any possible medical or health issues, because that could be their baseline. And we pay attention to the face only after what? You look at the feet first, hands, torso, and face. So look at these facial expressions and tell me what you see. What does this lady tell you non-verbally? Immediately, what is your impression? Uncomfortable? Maybe she's hiding something, right? Maybe she has a secret. What does this facial expression tell you? Busted. Why? What makes you say that? Okay, everybody, tighten your lips. The reason why I have you actually do these body gestures, because then you will feel it, and then you will see it in other people. So everybody, copy that guy's lips. When a person is distressed, the lips will disappear. When you're in fear, the lips will disappear. When he's in fear that he's being caught, the lips will disappear. What about this guy? What do you notice about this guy? Say busted. Busted. No, what's different about his mouth versus the first guy's mouth? Yes. Okay, everybody, pull down the corners of your mouth. You got to physically feel the corners of your mouth. See how hard it is to pull them down when you don't feel the feeling? The body reacts faster than you can control the body to stop. So he's busted because he did something wrong. What about Lance Armstrong? What do you notice about Lance Armstrong? Uh-huh. He's mad, too. He's mad that he's busted. Uh-huh. Notice what's common in all 3 men when they're under stress and distress. Look at the lips. If the lips are disappearing, why are the lips disappearing? What does this picture tell you? Okay, everybody, bite the bottom of your lip. Now lick the bottom of your lip. Depending on the situation, if she's at a date and she likes her date, could the lipping mean something different than if she was in front of the Senate committee, a special investigation? What are we paying attention to? The context. What about his lips? Any rock and rollers here? Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. And what does his lips mean? Notice how his lips are different than the other guys, right? Are his lips disappearing? No, the opposite. So that has a totally different meaning. He's trying to be sexy. Okay, Steve Jobs. Everybody touch your chin. Touch your chin. What does Steve Jobs' image there tell you? Yes. So if you see it in another person, they're paying attention to you. If you're doing it, you're still engaged with the other person, and you're showing a power pose. Okay, who's this person? Me, all right? So when we're looking at somebody else and you're, within a few feet, you want to keep good eye gaze. So business eye gaze, okay, touch the middle of your forehead. So you're imagining the upper triangle between the two eyes and the middle of your forehead. That's a safe zone in this culture. If you're on a date, you flip it. And men tend to do this. Men tend to look at the mouth of the other person if it's a lady, and they spend more time looking at the mouth. But be careful, guys, especially in this environment. You want to keep it in the middle of the head. Okay, Paul Ekman did research in the 1960s, and he came up with 7 microexpressions. So here are the takeaways for the 7 microexpressions. Surprise. Or you just came home from work, and you enter into your home, and all of your friends and your family just surprised you with your big fill-in-the-blank birthday party. What expression are you going to show? Right? Because you didn't expect it. Do you think Lucy has real surprise or fake surprise? Fake. Why fake? She's an actress. And you'll know in real life, a real surprise is a fraction of a second. It's the fastest microexpression. So if they elongate it more than a beat, it's fake. It's fake. So look at her. She's holding it forever. Now, we're going to analyze Taylor Swift. Look very closely. You tell me whether this is a real surprise or a fake surprise.
And of course, Taylor is the queen of award nominations, so you'd think by now she wouldn't be all that shocked, and yet she lets her jaw drop, hands clasp, and eyes bug every time her name is read from an envelope. Let's go ahead and review a collection of T Swift's best I can't believe I won, even though everyone else can surprise faces. Enjoy.
Watch
Fearless
carefully.
Taylor Swift.
So what was it? Do you think that was a genuine surprise or a fake? Who says genuine? Any genuines? Who say fake surprise? Why do you think it's a fake surprise? It was too long. Too long. It's got to be like, and then it's no longer than that. Then surprise goes into something else. It goes into happiness, or it goes into anger. It cannot be more than 1/25th of a second. Now she's happy, but she always pretends like she's surprised. So now you know what a real and a fake surprise is. Anybody know who this person is? What is her name? Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal pretended to be African American, all right? When she was born Caucasian, was raised in a Caucasian home by 2 Caucasian biological parents. Now, the reporter is going to do a busta move on her. And the reporter's going to give her the stimulus. You notice the baseline, then the stimulus occurs, and then count on your fingers what you notice as deviations to the baseline. And then you tell me the answer to my question at the end. So watch closely.
Is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
This man right here is your father? Right there?
Do you have a question about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was wondering if your dad really is an African American man.
That's a very I mean, I don't know what you're implying.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of, I did tell you that, yes, that's my dad. And he was unable to come in January.
Are your parents, are they white?
Remember the blue pit bull dog? She just pulled a blue pit bull move right there. Okay? Now we're going to watch it again. She claimed she was African American. The reporter gave her a picture of an African American man who is not her father. So take a look at this again. Okay, watch very closely. The reporter's going to show her a picture of an African American non-dad. It's not her dad. She will show you a real surprised face. See
Is that
it?
your dad?
Did you see it?
Yeah, that's
The real surprise?
This man right here is your father? Right there?
You have a question about that?
Yes, ma'am. I was wondering if your dad really is an African American man.
That's a very...
Notice
I
how
don't
long
know
it
what
takes
you're
her to
implying.
answer simple
Are you
questions.
African American?
I don't understand the question of, I did tell you that, yes, that's my dad. And he was unable to come in January.
Lick lip.
Are your parents, are they white?
Pit bull move. Okay. How many deception indicators did you notice there? The table in the back. What deception indicators did you notice in that woman? She tightened her lips up. Uh-huh. And did you, what was that last part? Yes. You noticed that. Everybody pull the bottom corners of your mouth. Her bottom corners of her mouth went down. Mary, what deception indicators did you notice? Yes, her eyes were darting.
That was what I was paying attention.
Delayed in answering the question.
If I showed you a picture of your dad, would it take you 4 seconds to tell me, is that your dad? If it was really your dad? Okay. You asked me, Janette, are you Asian?
Janette, are you Asian?
I don't know what you mean about that. Yeah, I'm Asian, can't you see? Yeah, duh. But it took her multiple seconds to answer such a simple question. Is that your dad? And are you African American? Any other deception indicators that you saw? Exactly. Very faint. And what did she do at the very end? She did the blue pit bull move, which was, I got to escape from here. Watch very closely because everything happened so fast. But in 5 seconds, you could tell with pretty certainty that this woman was not credible, right? But without attending acrobatic language, you wouldn't even probably give this little blip any thought at all. What are we trying to give you? The competitive advantage. You be the reporter, and I'll be Rachel. Okay, show me the picture of my dad.
Hi, Rachel. Question for you. Is this your father?
So immediately, and then I'll blink,
Is this your father?
and then I do the turtle tuck. I distance myself, and then I pause, and I make several seconds to answer such simple questions. So let's play it, and you'll still be my reporter here. Notice. See?
Is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
This man right here is your father? Right there?
You have a question about that?
Yes, ma'am. I was wondering if your dad really is an African American man.
I do the turtle tuck.
That's a very... I mean, I don't know what you're implying.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of, I did tell you that, yes, that's my dad. And he was unable to come in January.
Are your parents, are they white?
Did you catch more? Did you catch more of the signs? Thank you. Okay? Did you catch more the second time when you were being very, very attentive? The turtle talk. When turtles get scared, what do? And that distances away from the reporter. It's so subtle, isn't it? Instead of leaning in and saying, yeah, that's my dad. I love my dad. So watch again. Immediately, she opens her mouth in a real surprise. Opens her mouth.
Is that your dad?
She knows she's busted.
That's my dad.
Tight lips.
This man right here is your father?
Tightness.
Right there?
Do you have a question about that?
Blinking.
Yes, ma'am. I was wondering if your dad
Laughing.
really is an African-American man.
Turtle talk. See the turtle talk?
I mean, I don't know what you're implying.
Are you African-American?
Watch your head shake no. See the no?
I don't understand.
See the no?
The question of, I did tell you that, yes, that's my dad.
Did you
he
see
was
that she
unable to come in
non-verbally
January.
answered, no,
Are your
I'm not
parents-
African American?
Are they white?
And then she exited. I bet after seeing that clip now 2 or 3 times, you can identify 7 or more distress signals, right? Whereas before you didn't even know. Fear. Do you think this person is really afraid? Yes or no? Who thinks this is real fear? Raise your hand. Who thinks it's fake fear? You would think that it is fake fear because it's a picture, right? For a promo. But I think it's real fear, and the photographer was able to capture the real fear by startling her because she's got the hands in a defensive mode. Look at all the wrinkles on her forehead. How many wrinkles does she have? Horizontal wrinkles does she have on her forehead? Can we count them, please? 3. Okay, everybody, on your own forehead, I want you to create 3 wrinkles right now. 3 wrinkles. So you see, when we see 3 predominant wrinkles on this lady's forehead, which indicates to me that it's leaning towards what? Truthfulness. And look at the corners of her mouth. Everybody pull the corners of your mouth down. Without your hands, pull your mouth corners downward. It's hard to do, right? It's hard to do. This lady's mouth corners are what? Going downward. So you've got the puzzle pieces. The defensive hands, that's 1. The 3 horizontal forehead wrinkles, that's 2. And the open mouth, that's 3. Downward corners, that's 4. Leans towards what? Truthfulness or non-truthfulness? Truthfulness. It's all a scale. You're putting little puzzle pieces on the scale and you're tipping it one way or another. Fear. You're going to tell me if these 2 ladies are truly afraid. Your hands. True, afraid or not? True. Okay, now anybody thinks not really afraid? Why do we think that in this scenario the 2 ladies were truly afraid? Colleen?
I wasn't paying attention to my
The gentleman over here? What made you think that those 2 ladies in the elevator were truly afraid? Screaming? Protection? Right? They weren't expecting the little girl to pop out. Right. Even when the lights went on, they were still in the fetal position. This is the look of disgust. Notice the muscles on this lady, okay? That is the look of disgust. Now we're going to look at, you tell me, if this dog is really showing disgust or faking it. Watch. Okay? Dogs don't lie. Dogs don't lie. You want to see it again? Okay. What were the puzzle pieces in that dog? What did you notice? Did you hear that? The ears dropped, just like on that pit bull. When your dog's ears flatten, when they normally are erect, that's one puzzle piece. What other puzzle piece did you see? An asymmetrical lip. Elvis, where's Elvis? Elvis knows how to do this. Thank you very much. He's got that asymmetrical upper lip curl, right? But in this case, the dog didn't like what mom was spooning out, so it showed disgust. When you see asymmetrical or non-balanced facial or body language, that shows you that's a hot spot. The look of contempt. Anybody follow the Olympics a few years back? Michaela was not happy that she took the what? Silver? How could you tell she was not happy? Asymmetrical look in the mouth, right? If she had won the gold, what would her facial expression be? Right? Elevated cheeks, elevated mouth, elevated eyes. Not happy with second place. Justin Ross was accused of intentionally murdering his baby toddler. He mentioned his baby boy. You would think a father would be loving about that, but at the mention of his son's name, he gives this look that tells you that he wasn't happy with the mentioning of his son's name. The timing is everything. Asymmetrical contempt look. Now, Lance Armstrong will show you the look of contempt. Watch closely.
Do you deny? 100%, absolutely.
He says with his words yes, but his head shakes no.
100%, absolutely.
Mary, I'm innocent.
By comparing this to his behavior in other moments, his answer on this question is not congruent.
100%, absolutely.
The most reliable signs of emotions are short facial movements called micro-expressions.
Okay. Did you see the look of contempt? Right. He was happy that he cheated and got away with it for years. Can you tell he's angry? All right. Take a look at this gentleman and let me know if you think this gentleman is really angry.
Any allegation, any adverse incident like this makes me mad as hell. I could use stronger language here, Mr. Chairman, but in deference to the committee, I won't. But at the same...
With a show of hands, who's in the camp of Eric was angry? Anybody show Eric was really angry? Okay. With a show of hands, who believes he was not angry? Not angry. What makes you think he was not angry?
He just didn't have any expression on his face.
Yeah, we know what angry is like, right? You want a piece of me? Right? But what made you think that he was not angry?
It seems though before he took his language, it almost thought it seemed like he paused to think about it before he said it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were really angry, you probably wouldn't have control enough to.
Good points. Back of the room, what were your indicators that he was not angry? Calm and composed. Remember the haka moves with all this stomping, right? And when Eric said, you know, it makes me mad as hell. I could use stronger words. He just lightly tapped his hand. Did you see that? The hand tap? So on a scale, you're the scale truth versus not truth. He leans towards the not truth. Not credible, Eric. You're not credible. Pull up your middle eyebrows again. Remember how hard it is to pull that up? If you see that in your children or other people, that's a true sign of distress. Look at her chin, people. What do you notice about her chin? Dimples. Her Mandela's muscle is trembling, sign of distress. Look at the corners of her mouth. What do you see? Deflated or elevated? And look at the corners of her eyes. Deflated or elevated? So when you see 2, 3, or more signals of deflated facial expressions and body language, it tips towards sadness. Remember handstand girl? Okay, she was pretty cocky at the beginning, right? In the interrogation room, what did she do? She did herself a handstand. And then what happened in the interrogation room when the detective was grilling her? Right? She was doing this, right? Blocking, and the hair blocking. Now, this is at jury verdict, okay? We'll see how cocky she is now. Okay, watch her face. You tell me, is she confident? Watch very closely. She's about to hear the 12 people render their jury verdict. She's calm now, so this is what her baseline before she hears the stimulus.
5,
You catch it?
premeditated. 0, find felony murder.
What's she doing with her lips?
7, find both premeditated and
Look at that chin.
Signed, foreperson. Is this your true verdict, so say you want it all?
What's her attorney doing?
Is now going to ask each of you a question. Please answer yes or no. Juror number 1, is this
Look
your
at her
true
lips.
verdict? Juror number 2, is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror number 3, is this your true verdict?
Notice the
Yes.
chin.
Juror number 4, is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror number 6, is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror
Notice
number
the
7,
eyes.
is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror number 9, is this your true
Did you
verdict?
see the lick?
Juror number 12, is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror number 13,
What
is
did
this
you
your
just
true
do?
verdict? Juror number 14, is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror number 16, is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror number 18, is this your true verdict? Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Is she doing a handstand now? No. What were the indicators of sadness? Facial expressions. Immediately upon the first rendering of the verdict, what did you see? Everybody, take a breath. She was surprised. Remember, that's quick. Open mouth. She cannot believe that she is guilty, or she didn't fool the audience. So this is Jody's mouth. First verdict, guilty. All right. Then you saw what? Lipping, right? All right. Touch your chin. Move it around. Her chin was trembling every time she heard the verdict. Jury number 1, is this your true verdict? Yes. Tremble, tremble. Jury number 2, is that your true verdict? Guilty. Yes. Tremble, tremble, tremble. Can you move your Mandela's muscle right now? No. But in the moment of extreme distress, it will move on its own. So she's not doing a handstand right now. Now look at George Clooney. What are the true signs of happiness there? Okay, everybody, feel the corners of your eyes. Feel the wrinkles, okay? Now feel the plumpness of your cheeks, okay? Feel the corners of your mouth, right? Everything is what? Elevated, elevated. Oh, And when a person is truly happy and really smiling, these muscles pull up the eyes, which makes your eyes what? Close. Close. So you really know they're happy if you can see the wrinkles at the corner of the eyes, the apples in their cheeks, and everything lifted, including gums, if their teeth can show the gums. Elvis, did you have a question? Okay, who is this? That's me. Am I showing true happiness or fake happiness? What are the signs, Mary? Yes, yes. So you guys have passed the Acro Body Language test. Thank you very much. You are a great audience. Remember, from head to toes, what? The body always shows the truth.